Yeah, and that happens a lot to us, and it can really get you killed because the lag is so bad. Sometimes you won't even be able to like walk through doors correctly, and it screws up your whole movement and everything. And it's really bad lag. So I hope they patch that. Outside of that, there's not that many f flaws in survival I've seen
Besides the
so far.
frickin' suicidal dogs, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I
Man,
do.
those things have gotten us down numerous times. Basically, what they are is just dogs strapped with like C4 and explosives, and when you shoot them, they blow up in front of you. And like you can't really shoot them from a distance because they run up on you so fast that like you can get exploded so easily. Yeah, that's like the only thing that I found. And the other thing that I found that's a little messed up about it is I'm pretty sure last night we were playing and we were in the house and it was around 25ish and there's a juggernaut ground and there's two juggernauts. One came up from my way and one came up from his way. He killed the one coming up from his way, so then we both focused on the one coming up from my way. Ran up the stairs. I had some claymores laid down in the main part of the house, so he shot one of the claymores and it blew him up, and it almost got us down for the whole round because I almost died from that juggernaut because I didn't know that you can do that. So the fact that you can die from your own player's claymores and C4s or whatever it is, it's a little scary. So you have to be a little bit more careful than you can be with Nazi zombies. Because I remember with Nazi zombies, you can just throw anything you want. You don't have to worry about your other players. A little bit more, I guess you could say, hardcore mode. If you wanted to.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the main things I noticed because I believe on the game on Dome that will be uploading soon, where we made it to 31, if I remember. I actually kill you with a C4, I think midway through the video, accidentally, just trying to take out a Juggernaut because I didn't realize that my C4 had that big of a radius, and I didn't know it had friendly fire, I guess you can consider it on. So yeah, I just threw a C4 to try to kill a Juggernaut, and
Oh,
it killed you in like one C4 from 4 feet away. So and that almost got us down right there. So yeah, you do have to be a lot more cautious, just like how Toxic was saying.
and do you have any tips for how to beat the Juggernauts? Like, I mean, because I think a good strategy to do is I've noticed that on the survivor mode, whoever is the closest to the zombies are gonna go for. Pretty much, or not zombies, the enemies. Pretty much just like Nazi zombies was. If you guys were both near each other and one was on the left side of the room, one was on the right side of the room, they're gonna tend to spawn to whoever's closer to where they're spawning from. So you can kind of attract them to one way, all the zombies or all the enemies, and then you can just run the other way they're not even coming from, and kind of do trains, as you would say on the zombies, and you can just keep that going in a circle. Especially in the lower rounds when the Juggernauts come, there's only one, so you can just have him come from one way, and we can just run the opposite way, kind of like what we were doing on Dome, but we'll get into that later, in another video.
Yeah, And yeah, you see, just a second ago, I was taking use of the airstrike. That's why I like a lot from that position because if you stand inside the door and you just throw it straight outside the door, it has such a big radius that it will usually cover all the whole area with all those trees and right next to where you buy the kill streaks, which is like right where they're running through. So I tend to try to do that a lot. Like you see, I just bought another airstrike, and I tend to do that almost every round because I had a lot of currency stashed up for it.
And as the waves go on, the zombies start to get tougher and tougher, just like as the rounds would go on, and not the zombies, I should say the enemies would get tougher and tougher. And so they start to have body armor on, so it does take a little bit more shots to kill, so I do recommend getting claymores and getting C4s, getting sentry guns, doing everything you can do to survive. That's why it's called survival, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I was noting, as far as noting some of the other guns I was checking out later on after we did this gameplay, but some of the other things I was looking at is, or some of the other guns I was using were the MP7 I unlocked, and I unlocked the, which is a submachine gun, and I unlocked the MP9, I believe it's called, where it's like it's a secondary machine pistol. But I didn't really like either of those. I think the submachine guns are kind of maybe a little bit underpowered as far as survival goes. Because outside the UMP and maybe the MP5, I think so far from the submachine guns and machine pistols I've unlocked, that the assault rifles kind of overpower them a lot as far as survival goes.
Yeah, I did try out to use a Scorpion, which is a machine pistol, and I mean, it just Recoil didn't make that big of a deal in zombies, but for Survivor, it is kind of like you're playing online against real people. So recoil does make a little bit more big of a deal. So the Scorpion, I would recommend not to use that thing because unless you buy steady aim and use hip fire, which you're not gonna have a lot of ammo to start off with, and they don't drop those because they don't use Scorpions. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they don't even use Scorpions. So that gun, I used it. It's not that great. I would definitely not recommend that. I would actually recommend the Model 1887s though, because they do a lot of damage up to around like wave 15. I'm being serious about that. Like in zombies, I keep on comparing to zombies, but I mean this is like the main topic of the big news is zombies for survival. And in zombies, a stakeout or an Olympia is only good. Like look at Olympia, it's only good like the first 3 rounds, and then it's done. You can still use a 1887 because you can just upgrade it and make it better. You know. So I like that feature of upgrading your guns, kind of like a pack a punch, but it's a little better than a pack a punch. In my case, because you don't always have to get the same thing. You can have some variations. You can get a red dot. You can get extended mags, which we haven't unlocked that, or I haven't unlocked that, but it is later. I'm pretty sure you can get underbarreled shotguns like a Scar. I mean, there's a lot of variations you can use, kind of like a creative class. But I really enjoy how they did the guns in survival. I really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah, huh? I was seeing that I was seeing that same thing too. The master key shotgun and all that. I'm looking forward to try all of those new attachments and everything once I get to the rank where I can get those. But yeah, right now it's getting into the harder rounds. Like we just cleared
Yeah.
wave 21. And this is the point where you really gonna have to use your kill streaks and all because this is when they start sending the a lot of juggernauts every round and the suicide vest dogs and everything. But another thing I wanted to say is that for my tips for beating juggernauts or killing juggernauts, which I don't think I quite touched on enough, would be as far as I was playing solo and I saw that in some of the harder maps, what they would do is they'd have a tendency to send juggernauts at the same time as attack helicopters or payloads, so that basically you couldn't just keep running from them from the juggernaut and keep healing as much as you want because you would kind of have to stay in a building to not get shot by a payload, and you kind of have to run from the juggernaut not to get shot by him because it's so hard to kill him. So I like how they did that because it made it much more challenging to fight a juggernaut.
Yeah, and I always like a challenge. I mean, look at Kino Der Toten. I mean, that map you can. I've seen people go knife only and make it to like around 20. I mean, getting to wave 20 in this knife only is it's ridiculous because I'm pretty sure like around wave 12, when you knife an enemy, you have to like knife him 2 times because he goes into like last stand or final stand, whatever you want to call it. So I do like a challenge, and I think that if everyone does play Survivor, you'll become really good. And I think these tips that we're giving you are really helpful, especially just from the day it just came out yesterday. And yeah,
Uh-huh. And yeah, really, there's not much more else. There's not that much more to touch on so far. I'm trying to think of everything we didn't mention and whatnot, but really, it's just it has a lot of content, but unlike Nazi Zombies, there's actually you can rank up this time, so a lot of it requires you to rank up to experience a lot of the content. So as we rank up, we'll just keep trying to bring survival videos showing all the new content in it and all the new things we're unlocking and our updated impressions and our second thoughts and everything about it.
yeah, and we're gonna try to get through pretty much all the maps, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna be trying to get through a lot of majority of the maps. Actually, after we upload that dome gameplay that we might upload maybe tomorrow. After that, we're gonna try to go to take on some of the harder maps, maybe some of the tier 4 maps, which are ranked as insane difficulty. So
Oh,
yeah, from what I hear, I haven't played any of the insane difficulty maps yet. But from what I hear, they have they have armored juggernauts. nerve gas enemies, and then they have claymore enemies, and then default enemies. So and dogs. So it's gonna be ridiculous because like if you look at tier one, it only has like the basic kind of enemies, juggernauts and dogs.
And
Then
some
you
helicopters in there.
Yeah, and helicopters. And then you look at tier two, and then I believe they added claymore enemies. And then tier three, they had claymore enemies, and then they had like the tear
Yeah.
gas dropping enemies, and they just keep adding enemies like that. And I'm not sure what they meant, but I was reading the description for the tier four, and instead of just saying juggernauts or riot shield juggernauts, they said armored juggernauts. So I'm assuming the juggernauts are going to be even tougher than what we're used to from the earlier ones, so that's going to be a unique experience playing the tier 4 maps.
Yeah, and one thing I do like about Survivor that I can't believe I didn't touch upon is how you can buy like this revive for 4 grand. I'm pretty sure it's 4 grand. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty definite, about 99% sure. Basically what it is it's not a guaranteed revive like in zombies where if you go down, oh yeah, even if they're still shooting at you, or even if they're still hitting you, you automatically get revived, and they actually go away, they disappear. No, in Survivor, if you get down, there's like a little bar that has to fill up, and you can't get shot while the bar is filling up. If you get shot, then it lowers the bar. It doesn't fill up as quickly, and eventually it'll actually go away. But if you stay behind cover, and if you die, and if you have that on, then that's just like almost essential. So that's what we did on Dome. But we'll get to that in another video. But I really do like how they have revive.
And I was just really the only attachments you get early on are the red dot sight and the holographic.
Yeah, there's
And I
nothing
know
else pretty much.
Yeah, and I noticed I like the red dot sight a lot more than I like the holographic because I found the holographic a lot more obstructive, and they made the red dot sights look very similar to the Call of Duty 4 red dot sights. So
Yeah,
and the angles are
and
cut and their clarity. So that's one thing I like because I thought Call of Duty 4 had the best iron sights. So I really or the best optical sights. So yeah, I really like the red dot from COD
I don't
4. It just reminds
understand.
me of it.
Like, why? To me, they made the holographic like so small, like almost like a little rectangle. I don't get that. Like, they could have just kept it what it was. It was fine though. Like in MW2. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the changes I don't like, but yeah, so pretty much as far as optical attachments goes, I'm just gonna be pretty much using a red dot all the way so far, because I dislike holographic.
Yeah, and guys, if you have any other questions about something that you came across in Survivor that you were confused by, or maybe you think that we might know that we just didn't have enough time to touch upon, or we just weren't thinking about it, leave a comment, send us a PM, or send us a message or something. We'll be glad to answer you, and we'll be glad to help you get through your problem. And yeah.
And really, it's got about 2 more minutes, I believe, up until we die here. But yeah, as you can see, this is our main strategy. We just try to stay in that building. We both watch either direction, and then I believe he kept getting ammo and sentry turrets and claymores to watch his way. And
Yep.
I wasn't as high rank as him, so I didn't have the sentry turret unlocked or some of the other stuff. But I was doing a pretty good job of watching my way just with my gun. So. And we know that this isn't the best round, or this isn't like a really high round, but I think this is pretty damn
Second
good.
try.
Yeah.
Well, we just ran into the strategy. I literally walked up the thing, and I was like, hey, this looks like a pretty good room to sit in. Let's try it out. And we got to almost around 30, or second try. But yeah, each side has an advantage. Like my side, I can buy claymores and body armor. His side, he can buy, or he can buy both, but he's closer to kill streaks. So either way, you got something that'll help you defend your way, as long as you guys are relatively around the same level.
Yeah, and this is about the time we die. I see a Juggernaut makes it through his way on my path, and I tried to kill him, but I didn't have enough cover, and yeah, he breached my path, and then I got trapped in a corner. This is a really weird way to die, but yeah, I got trapped in a corner. I finally killed him. Then a dog jumps on me, broke its neck. And then that's when the suicide vest dogs barely get out of there in time. And I actually thought it was similar to zombies at this time, to where your teammate could die, but he would just respawn next round. We did not know it ended the game, so that's why I just ran away, because I didn't think I could heal him. But yeah, unfortunately, it ended the game unexpectedly.
Good we
But
ran into that though, so now we know.
yeah, so now we know for next time. But I think it was still a really good gameplay, and I think we did pretty damn good for one of our first tries. So, or our second try to be exact. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, because we'll be bringing a lot more Modern Warfare 3 survival and co-op gameplay.
Yep,
Peace.
yep, see you guys later.